year was a good year for Solon residents, having survived the Great Depression and slowly getting back to work and eating three squares again. Hello, I'm Joe Bauman, the curator of the Solon Historical Society and your host for this memorable film you are about to see. It is from the Historical Society's archives and is identified simply as Fireman's Film 1937. The many scenes and active smiling people were identified in 1977 by a citizens group of longtime Solonites, including some volunteer firemen. Maybe you know or knew them. Some of them were Don Cook, Jim and Joe Merrick, Rita Hickox, Ruth Hawkins, Zelda Taylor, Mac McDowell, Wilma Watson Dorflinger, Fred Britton, and Bud Eden. More recently, the memories of Dave McConaughey, Nelson Bard, and Clyde Knowles were given a workout. Sit back and travel with me to the 1930s when people didn't have much wealth, but they did have a wealth of happy times with family and friends. I will attempt to identify people and locales in the film and add some background information. Mr. Ed Rhodes and daughter Ruth. He was the first mayor of Solon, serving from 1927 to 1932. This is a view of the old Solon Depot on the Wheeling and Lake Erie Railroad, affectionately known as the Hoodlebug. It exists today, a portion of it. This is the station agent, Mr. Blanchfield. This is the switching tower where you could switch to go to Twinsburg, go south. And Mr. Rosenfeld, this switching master, was hanging out of the window waving. Mayor Julius Verbsky served from 1932 to 1936. He followed Ed Rhodes. Otto Jarosek, Mrs. Verbsky. Solon Springs Bottling Company. It was founded by Mr. Becker. This was located at the base of Ledge Hill. This was sold to the Kirchners later in the 1940s. Many a high school graduation served the beverage from this beverage company. This is the old yellow brick school on Solon Road. It was a school that served all the grades at one time. Consolidated school, they would call it. Esther Markham, Winifred Watson, Ed Safranik, and Corrine Gardner. In front of the old yellow brick schoolhouse. Bob and Otto Jarosek. Lloyd Okunzi, Eleanor Pulsford swinging, Polly Henderson with white hat, Callie Leonard, Ed Donowski, Willie Watson, father of Wilma Watson Dorflinger. The Solon Band. In a concert Alfred Freeman was conducting. He taught music in Solon. Playing trumpet in the middle is McAfee Boy. Kerry Boy and Richard Safranik were here too. Clyde Knowles, a drummer, third from left. Charlie Leonard. The C&S Farmers Exchange building, located on Solon Road and Route 91 on the southwest corner. The railroad track ran across Route 91 right in front of it. This is the John Ball gas station located where Cooker's Restaurant is today on the corner of Route 43 and 91. There's John Ball himself checking the oil. Filling the gas tank. This is 7 Acres, which was a restaurant park area on the corner of Solon Road and Route 91, where Applebee's and Cooker's Restaurant is located today. They serve Solon Springs beverages, notice that. Some of the cooks. This is Grandma Minnie Rhodes. And this is Minnie Rhodes with her daughter Jane Rhodes Safranik. She was a teacher. The Solon Garage, located on Bainbridge Road, it is still there today. Charlie Leonard, Carl Watson, Clyde Knowles Sr. There he is, Clyde Knowles Sr. Clyde Knowles Sr. and Clarence Morrison. Duke the Barber. This was located east of Trimple's General Store. Will Trimple and son Paul. Mr. Verbsky and May Safranik Rhodes. In front of the Trimple General Store. There's Duke again. This is the Wilson's Bowling Alley Solon Recreation Parlor. This again was also east of the Trimple General Store on Bainbridge Road. John Wilson, his father Ed Wilson, and Otto Gyrosek again. The Benfield Drug, which became the Leader Drug, Solon Center Building, corner Route 43 and 91. A&P Tea Company was located in there. This is inside the grocery store. Notice how they stacked those cans. Don't take the bottom one. The drugstore. The druggist was Merle Eastman, who worked for Benfield himself. That's Don Cook. The post office was also located in this Solon Center building. Mr. Robb, who sold real estate in Solon. Roselle's Restaurant across the street from the Solon Center building, where Jim's Open Kitchen is. This building exists today. It's located behind Cooker's Restaurant. Al Roselle. Before that was Clara Kryerhoff. This is Mr. Garfield. Sunoco Station, a corner of Route 43 and 91. Still is a Sunoco station today. The Garfield Sunoco Station. That was at Ball's gas station, Lynn Dewey in front of it. The Glen Willow School. First is Wilford Hirschman, The fifth one's Don Radovic, Harriet Avery here also. Teacher was Miss Fisher. William Deedy and the school bus in Glen Willow. Leona Yonker, Bessie Cunningham, mother of Rita Hickox. Willie Hirschman, Wilfred Hirschman. This is the Avery store in Glen Willow. It was a post office and gas station. The building still exists. It still stands there alongside the railroad track where it crosses Pettibone. This was the Glen Willow Church in the corner of Pettibone and Richmond Road. Warren Clark with his scooter, Linda Britton and Don Britton, Shirley Hawkins, Ruth Hawkins, Jackie Ramage in this scene. This was Baldwin Avenue, Paul and Douglas Henry, three-wheeling it. Geauga Lake, Reed's Recreation Parlor. Bowling alley is now the VFW Hall. The Edwards Food Store in Geauga Lake. Frank Petrick was the owner and their family ran this store. There's the owner and their family. Geauga Lake Garage. Gladys Pagel Knopf and Carl Knopf. Phyllis and Jack Merrick, son and daughter of Emma and Joe Merrick. Lyman Coles. Ed Clark, Town Marshal. Charlie Leonard on Bainbridge Road. William Sims was the local tinner. And here comes Bob Hyde, who was the Hoodlebug Railroad fireman, the local town character. Henderson, Grandma Annie Britton, grandmother of Fred Britton. There she is. Henry Cummins, shoveling coal, worked for Mr. Roxbury. Had a barber shop and a coal yard on Solon Road. Grandma Gildard lived across from the high school on Solon Road. Solon grade and high school pictures now coming up. First grade teacher was Doris Kavanaugh. Florence Pulford, Willie Watson. Willie Watson was the custodian of the school. He ran Watson's General Store. He was also the cemetery sexton. Dorothy Lewis. Paul Hickox, Mary Alice Robichaud, 80. Lila Mead McDowell Wendell. Okunzi in the stocking cap. Jenny Congas, Charlie Leonard, Nato. Too many names to mention, they come so fast out the door. Charlie Leonard holding the door open. Dorothy Lewis. Grace Roxbury's one of the teachers. Mildred Smith, Dorothy Safranik Shively, Edith Merrick Knowles. Man teacher was Russell Filson. Coral Edwards was the principal at the time. Hasman, Biddle. Auto Gyrosec's doing a good job of directing traffic as they come out. They started out with the younger grades, now they're getting up to the seniors. Russell Filson, that was the male teacher there. Notice the dress, how they dressed in those days. Hairstyles. Shirts and ties. Basketball, they did play it back in those days. Notice the uniforms, how they've changed from then till now. Charlie Kramer, Mrs. Kramer. Beverly. That's the dog. Mrs. Mamie Roxbury. Look like the bread wagon. Solon Lumber Company, built in 1932. Carter Lumber Company is setting on the same site today, and many of the barns that were used then are still being used. I think they've had a turnover of lumber between now and then, though. Mike Tigro on the truck. Wheeling and Lake Erie Railroad, which served most of Solon in the lumber yard, going up over the coal tipple area where they dumped the coal down. Walter King, Kenneth Keck, and Fred Britton in front of the Solon Lumber Company. This is the Ted Gotham gas station, which was the corner of Bainbridge Road and Route 91. This was the Keylizer Solon Dairy, which was located on Route 91 behind the old town hall and facing onto Route 91. That was the milkman. Aunt Hetty Blackman, dressed in her finest, heading off to church on Sunday morning. Willie Byers, again the tinner, lived on Bainbridge Road. This is the Solon Community Church, or Federated Church, located where the War Memorial Fountain is today, corner of Bainbridge and Solon and Route 91. Mrs. Verbsky, Aunt Hetty Blackman, Ethel Slade Palmer, Grandma Rhodes, Emma Merrick, Ruth Hawkins, Jane Safranik, Mary Gyrosek. These are a few of the names of the ladies as they are coming from church. Mrs. Britton, Mrs. Bard, Roxbury, Rhodes, Dee Dee. All familiar names in those days. Notice the street scenes behind. That was the Ball gas station. The old Disciples Church, the old town hall, before it was remodeled by the WPA in 1939. Verbsky, Melvin Walton, and Ed Clark. Mr. Emery Cameron. Solon Meat Market was located east of the Trimble General Store. There's the meat packer himself. The Solon buses in front of the yellow brick schoolhouse. School's letting out. Time to go home. Charlie Leonard was the driver of one of them. Gertrude Deedy. lot different from the way they look today. Quite a variety. Johnson McDowell is the father of Mac and Zelda McDowell Taylor. Mrs. Hale. The Hale home was located on Solon Road. Mr. Deedy, Bill Deedy. Austin Powder Works, Will Hawkins, Mr. Knox, Mr. Stollifer. Carl Schmal. Notice their lunch pails. The old fire engine pumper. It was purchased in 1929 for $582. This is a scene on Bainbridge Road with a mock fire. Ed Safranek is driving. Charlie Leonard, Slim Kramer, and Otto Gyrosek with the hose. The Solon Fire Department has recently found this old truck and they are attempting to restore it. The old Solon garage, which is where the fake fire was going on. Don Cook's going to be carrying a fire victim out. Tough to hold that hose back. Otto Gyrosek again, captain. There's the fire victim. Going to perform some old-fashioned artificial respiration on him. This is the way they used to do it. Well, they're going to wrap up the victim and put him in the ambulance. Well, there it is. We hope this trip down memory lane has been both entertaining and informative, and I apologize for any mistaken identities, as sometimes time takes its toll on memories. Ah, those were the good old days. Goodbye, and hope to see you all around this good old town of Solon.